Well, hello everyone, welcome back guys. Hope you all are doing well. This is Mohammad Badruddin and today we are going to solve lab number 4 from cross-site request forgery vulnerability module from Prosegur. So in today's lab we are going to see another case where the application is vulnerable to CSRF. Let's say the lab is saying CSRF where token is not tied to the user session. Although in the previous labs, in every previous lab, we try to check whether the CSRF tie with the user session or not. And in this lab, we are going to do something very much similar to that, but there is a different case and the testing way is different. So this lab's email change functionality is vulnerable to CSRF. It uses token to try to prevent CSRF attacks, but they are not integrated into the site's session handling system. Fine, so CSRF token is there, but it's not tied with the session handling system. To solve the lab, use your exploit server to host an HTML page that uses a CSRF attack to change the viewer's email address. And we have here two accounts. One is Wiener and another one is Carlos, and we have the valid credentials of these accounts. Fine, so let's go. I already opened up the lab here, and the first thing what I'm going to do here is start the burp proxy on my browser so that all the traffic pass through the burp proxy, and I'm immediately going to log in from the Wiener account. So Wiener and the password is Peter. Fine, so let's log in. And if we go to the HTTP history, you can see we have post request for the login, and this is our account page. Fine. So now I'm going to open one private window, and here I'm going to log in as the Carlos account or second account. So I'm going to just copy the URL and paste it here. And the username is Carlos and the password is Montoya. So copy that back here, paste that, hit enter. Okay, now let's see. What I'm going to do here is going to the Wiener user, and I'm going to try to change the email address, and we will then analyze the request. So if I say WIENER Wiener at cybersec.radar, okay, and just update the request, update the email, sorry. This is the post request where we update the email address. So if we see the request closely here, you will find out that we have here two post parameter. One is email and the second one is CSRF token. And this is our session cookie. So I'm just going to send the request to the repeater and we'll test few things. Then we go to the main point. Fine. So let's see here. What I'm going to do is I'm gonna try here to change my email address from Wiener1 to Wiener2 at cybersec.radar, and you can see the last character is Q. So I'm going to change it as Z, small z, and try to send this request. So once we send this request for changing our email, you can see invalid CSRF token. That means this CSRF token is tied with this session. So whenever you are going to change the email address, one CSRF token is already assigned for you, and this CSRF token is tied with this session cookie. So anytime your user is going to change it, it is going to check this session, and according to this session, it is going to check the associated CSRF token. Fine, because this token is not correct, so it's saying invalid CSRF token. Now back to the same token, and this time I'm going to try to just take out the CSRF token completely from here and just send this request. And once we send this request, it's gonna say CSRF parameter is missing, and that's perfectly fine. It seems working everything fine, and we have CSRF protection, but we can think out of the box and we can try a few more things. First of all, I'm just going to make it as it was. Okay, now let's say once we change the value of the CSRF token from this Q to Z, so it may be check that this CSRF token exists somewhere in the cache or log or somewhere. If it exists, then it's valid token. If it does not exist, that means it is invalid token. What I'm trying to say here, or what I'm trying to make you understand, that it could happen that the CSRF tokens assigned to all the user or any user logged somewhere, and the application is checking that CSRF token exists or not. If exist, then the user can perform that action, otherwise not. So because here it seems like this CSRF token tie with this session cookie, but actually is not. So how we will check that? Okay, and for that purpose we have two users here. So now I'm going back to the proxy and go to the intercept. I'm gonna turn on my intercept. Okay, and I'm going back to the another user account, which is Carlos, and let's try to change the email of the Carlos user. So let's say Carlos @cybersec.radar. Fine, and just update the email. Now you can see here this request, I don't want it, so let's forward. This is the request. Now you can see we can take this and save it somewhere. Okay, and then I'm going to drop this request. So once I drop this request, that means it is not going to update the email address. So you can see it's not updated here. Fine, because it's still, the domain name is still the previous one. And if we try to refresh the page, you can see as previous. That means it's not changed. But what I did is we get one valid CSRF token. So let's say this is the Carlos CSRF token. Okay, now I'm going to take this Carlos CSRF token and I'm going to put it here in the Wiener, in the place of Wiener CSRF token. Fine, and now let's try to send this request. Okay, and as you can see 302 found, and it's redirecting us to this URI with this query parameter. Fine, that means the email address of Wiener user is changed. So if we come to the Wiener user, just refresh it, you can see wiener2@cybersec.radar. Fine, now what happened here is application is checking that the CSRF token, the content in the CSRF token must be matched within the content logged in somewhere or saved somewhere with the application. So if its content is okay, it is going to give you the ability to perform that action, but it does not checking this session. That means what I'm trying to say is it's not checking the CSRF token associated with this session cookie or not. Okay, otherwise it will never give you the ability to perform that action. What it's checking, it's only checking that this CSRF token is valid or not. Fine, so that is the only thing. Now because we understand everything, we will go and we create our HTML code to exploit that. So HTML, and we close the HTML tag. Then within that HTML tag we have body section, and we will close the body section. Fine, now let's create one form. So form action is equal to, we will put here the URL, and the method is equal to post method to change the email. Now here we need to put the URL or with the endpoint of changing the email. So I'm going to copy URL from here and paste it here. Now I'm going to close the form, and inside that form I'm going to put here the input field. So input type is going to be, let's say, hidden, because I don't want user to see this input field. And another thing is the parameter name, which is gonna be name and its value. Okay, so the name of the parameter is email, because as you can see here, it require only two parameter. One is email and another one is CSRF. So value, let's say Wiener at Wiener 3, let's say Wiener 3 at cybersec.radar, or we can just, to prove it better, we can say hacked. Okay, and we want to finish this input tag, and I'm just going to copy this one and paste it here, because this time we also need CSRF token. So CSRF token, and we need another value of the CSRF token. So we go back to the Carlos, and if we refresh the page, you can see page is refreshed. Now I'm going to inspect it, and within the form you can see here we have the CSRF token. So you can extract it from here, or you can extract by intercepting the request to the burp proxy. So copy that value, and I'm going to put that value here, and we don't need that. Okay, so that's it. Now what we need is, we just need to submit this form. So I'm gonna say script and close the script tag, and within the script I'm just going to say a document dot forms dot submit, and that's it. Okay, now just go back to the attacker. So I'm going to the Carlos, go to the exploit server, and in the body section we are going to paste the form. Okay, so we need just this section, because it's already saying that you need to put the data inside body section. So this is the body section, just paste it, and you can view it, or you can directly put that. So let's say view the exploit. So once we view, we should see that our email gets changed. So you can see username is Carlos and the email address is changed. So we actually test that exploit on our user. Okay, but once we submit that exploit and deliver it, so any user click that link, his email address will be changed. So let's go back here, sorry, go to the exploit server one more time, and just change the email, because once the email is assigned to someone, it is going to say invalid email, or email is already assigned. So we need to change it to the unique email. Now store this, and we are just going to deliver this exploit to the victim. So that should work. Oh, okay, because one more thing here, because once you use that CSRF token, another time you will get another token. So if we go back here, and if we refresh the page, and back here to the inspect section, and I'm going to inspect this field. So here we have another CSRF token value. Just copy that back to the exploit server and change it to the unique value, store it, and deliver the exploit to the victim. And that's it. Congratulations, you solved the lab. So that's it for this video. I'm gonna see you in the next video. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. See you. Bye.